Hello, today I'd like to introduce our team, the Iron Research Group at the Centre for Exploration Targeting, University of Western Australia. In this talk I'll introduce the members of our group. I'll talk very briefly about the goals that we have in our research, and I'll run through some of our past and current major projects that we've been working on, and then I'll mention some areas for future possible work that we'd like to do as a group. This is the present list of people working in our team. It's led by Stefan Hagemann. He's not only the Deputy Director of the CET, but he's also our theme leader of the Iron Group. Thomas Angerer and myself, Paul Deering, we're both postdoctoral researchers within the group. Des Lascelles is an adjunct, and Anna Sophie Henzer is a PhD candidate. And together we have a diverse range of backgrounds, not starting in iron ore. Stefan has been in this field for the last 10 years, but Thomas and myself up to 5 years. Des has quite an extensive background, going back decades in iron ore, and Anna is about 2.5 years into her PhD study. So together we bring quite a diverse background with a range of experiences. Through our work, we are presently working with CSIRO, GSWA. These are government institutions of Western Australia, which are principally doing research into many different fields, some of which include iron ore. We also have affiliations with universities in Brazil and a range of industry sponsors, and we aim to have a lot of our projects primarily sponsored by industry. As a whole, we have quite a wide-ranging vision. We'd like to be leaders in the research that we do. We'd like to use innovative tools, and also we have a foot in education and training the next generation of geologists. Major projects that we've been involved in is a number which are based in Western Australia. Ones which have been completed recently include in the Southern Cross Domain, Murchison Domain, and presently we have a large project in the Hamsey Province, and also the Yilgarn Craton as a whole. So a lot of these starting projects have now been merged into a larger Craton scale project. And what brings all these projects together? Well, it's understanding the timing, nature of hypogene and supergene processes for ore formation, where hypogene are deeply sourced, generally hot fluids. Supergene fluids are near surface colder fluids, and both can be important in concentrating iron in banded iron formations. And what we try to do is we try to make all of this research applied and have direct benefits to exploration. Other projects, there's a couple listed in Western Australia, Matthew Ridge and Joiners Find, but we've also spread our wings and have ongoing projects in Brazil, and recently we've had a master's project which has been completed, and that's been looking at hydrothermal phosphate minerals associated with iron ore. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to date these phosphate minerals, and in association constraining the age of iron formation in these deposits. So those are past and present projects. Now a little bit about where we like to get into. Well, we'd like to continue with this mode of research that seems to be working for us. So that's examining the genesis of iron ore types, and also trying to help exploration by refining their models. An area that we think we'd like to get into and deserves further work is refining these hyperspectral and geophysical techniques. And basically we're gathering more data sets, so we have to find better ways to efficiently interpret them. Another area is looking for blind ore bodies, and by blind I mean what iron ore deposits which are covered by transported material, but they can also be, say, hypogene deposits which are covered by a blanket of weathered banded iron formation. So we don't know what's underneath there. So that's something that we'd like to work on, maybe by looking at geophysical techniques, or maybe even by looking at minerals which are now formed at the surface and seeing if they have any inheritance of other deeper hypogene iron ore styles. And also there's potential to use thermodynamics to try to constrain how ore formation occurs. When you talk about thermodynamics, it can be seemingly quite an abstract sort of topic, but when we look at these banded iron formations, sometimes we see silica loss and we form an iron ore, or sometimes we see iron being mobile in hydrothermal fluids and transported by these fluids and then deposited in certain areas. So what are the fundamental controls on the iron mobility? And these are some things which we would be hoping to work out with thermodynamics studies. And there's room to use state-of-the-art research methods such as infrared microscopy for fluid inclusion studies, so we can actually look at these ore minerals which are opaque in transmitted plane polarized light. If we put them if we shine infrared light through these minerals, then sometimes we can see inclusions within these minerals. An example is hematite. So rather than measuring associated minerals like quartz, we can actually measure these ore minerals. Another area is by in situ analysis for dating. Perhaps we can look at iron isotopes as indicators of the source areas of iron and associated fluids. And maybe we can look at the chemistry of iron oxides to tell us how they formed or where they originated from. And we can use hyperspectral surveys in our routine exploration to target iron ore bodies which are exposed at surface. That's research that I've been talking about up until now, but we also offer in-depth training programs. Every 2 years we have short courses which last a couple of days, and we document the latest in exploration and understanding ore-genesis models for iron ore. We also are developing an iron ore atlas, and that's going to be a book with a lot of photographs of iron ore textures, so that hopefully people in industry and academia can pick it up and they can compare what they're looking at with a range of examples in book form. So how can you interact with us? We've got a number of ways, starting from short-term consultancy to training, through a range of student studies, PhD, Masters and Honours study, or else applied research projects. And what we've got here is we've got listed the perceived benefit level to the companies. So why do we promote these applied research projects? Well, it seems to be a model that's been working for us for the last 3 or 4 years. What it does is we are basically entrenched within a company And so we offer a superior level of interaction between your company and not only us as iron researchers, but also the entire CET iron group and the wider CET community, which is at the moment about 45 people on staff. So by being entrenched within your company, we are there on a weekly basis, going down to your office and working together to try to tackle a problem which will help both us with our understanding of these iron systems, but importantly the company and improving their exploration success. And by having that direct interaction, we offer the training opportunities for geologists. So in the past, I've taken geologists out mapping with me, and we can stand over the rocks and talk about mapping techniques, but also about the rocks that we're standing over and how they came to be. We offer frequent delivery of results. So quite often we produce end of months reports, end of field trip reports and presentations. So it's not like you get all of these results at the end of a 2-year project. You get them ongoing as they are being developed. And then something that you can also think about is that by interacting with the CET, you're also being put in contact with students, which are obviously going to be an area of your future workforce. So I'll wrap this up here. So if you have any questions, then please, by all means, contact myself either through my email address or through the CET website. And on that website, I'll put other similar movies and bibliography of recommended materials to read and any other useful information that I can get my hands on. Okay, thanks for listening.